Live from Detroit, it's the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast with your hosts, Dane Williams, Junko Bodie, and Bob Daniele. If you're looking for the best present to take to your mother-in-law's birthday party, you're in the wrong place, dude. We talk Michigan sports here. It's real, it's raw, and there are no punches pulled. What happens when you put a gambler, a rocket scientist, and a radio jock in the same room? Well, we're all about to find out, and it probably won't be pretty. But whatever happens, it will be lively. So grab a brew, sit yourself in your favorite rocker, and take notes if you're some kind of nutcase. The boys are back in town and talking about the stuff that matters, Motown sports. So let's get to it, people. Here's the host of today's show, Rockin' Robert Daniele.
Hey, friends, what up? Welcome to the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast. This is week 10, and I am your host, Bob Daniele. Thanks for stopping by wherever you may be. We appreciate it. It was another fabulous football weekend. Lions win. Michigan had an opportunity to rest their wounds before they head into the final 3 games of the regular season. Now that will hold the fate of them getting into the college football playoff. We're going to talk about that. It is my extreme pleasure to welcome in my boys, the true stars of this show, Junko Bodie and Blue Dane Williams.
Hey, Robert.
Gentlemen. Hey.
Hey, Robert.
So, guys, we had a week off from Michigan football, and an empty Saturday, if you will. Any interesting non-football related activities? Did you reintroduce yourself to your wives? Did they tell you to go away, or were you just simply bouncing off of walls looking for another football game?
Well, Robert, I tell
Anybody
you,
sharing?
I was part of the Sandoval Community Garage Sale, and it was a wonderful time. You know, got there at like 6:30 in the morning, trying to put things out. You know, garage sales are so interesting. You got people coming up. You know, you got $10 on it. Will you take $1 for this? No, it says $10. Okay. Ridiculous. But anyway, we did that most of the day. Well, I guess it lasted until about 1:00, and then I was able to come back and watch some football. But that was my non-football excitement for Saturday.
People asking for a warranty on a broken toaster?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it works. It works. Don't believe me. Yeah, it works. Fine.
Don't worry about it. It works. Yeah, take my word for it. Yeah. No, I don't get a break, Bob. I'm not like you. I'm not a casual like you guys. I'm locked in. I mean, it wasn't Michigan, but it was somebody else, and so I was, I'm locked in not only just to Michigan and what they're doing from a day-to-day basis, but I'm locked into the whole CFP scheme, baby.
So what you're saying, Junko, is you have no life.
I have no life. Zero.
This is why we have an entire network named after you.
That's right.
Junko Bodie Network. I mean, people.
That didn't happen by accident,
I was going to say, people with do you think Bob CBS takes the weekend off? No.
No.
So let's start with the Lions and their 44-22 win over the Commanders without Jaden Daniels. Detroit got a little revenge for the NFC semifinal last year, but more importantly, they kept pace with the NFC North Division, and with Green Bay's loss on Monday night, they find themselves tied in the division for what? The Chicago Bears at 6-3. Detroit got back to their pound and ground football. That was good to see. First using the running game and then setting up the passing game, which worked like a charm. Few stats. Of course, Jahmyr Gibbs had a great game after only 28 yards against Minnesota. He had 142 on 15 carries, 3 receptions for 30 yards, and 3 total touchdowns. Goff's passer rating, 320 passing yards, 75% completion, which is number 1 in the NFL. And I got to mention the impressive O-line, their performance, no sacks allowed, no tackles for loss, and then throw that on top with no punts allowed. So, Lions didn't punt at all, right? So that was...
They did not punt at all.
Nope. That was
Zero
an
punt.
awesome game. So it looked like, not that it looked like, it was confirmed that Dan Campbell was calling the plays. So I'm going to start with you, Junko. What does that mean going forward?
Yeah, I think we all wondered why the Lions looked so lackluster against the Vikings, right? They didn't, and I think maybe, I mean, I'm just probably jumping to conclusions here, but Dan Campbell must have saw something he didn't like, because I mean, for him to take back the play calling responsibilities from his first year offensive coordinator, that's a significant move, right? That's something that he would have had to gone to. I mean, how do you go to John Morton and say, "Oh, by the way, I know you're the offensive coordinator, but you're not calling plays anymore, right? I'm going to do it."
It's results. It's results based, man.
Right. Yeah. So, I what I liked about the game in particular was Detroit seemed to frustrate You see how frustrated Washington was? I mean, they
Very.
couldn't stop Detroit's run. And one of the things that I really liked was Detroit went back to its roots, right? They ran the ball, but when they didn't run the ball, they ran counter, right? And they threw the ball to the middle of the field where the linebackers used to be, because they're up stopping the run. And I thought that was a great game plan. Jared Goff is a statue. We all know that. He's not going to run a lick, but he can influence a pocket by bootleg. And he did that 4 or 5 times in the game yesterday. I thought it was a great coaching decision. Maybe that's part of what Campbell saw that he didn't like before. But I thought that had a lot to do with how well they did. And what does it mean going forward, Bob?
You can't give it back to Morton. You're going to give it back to Morton?
No. Right, and if this week was the result of Dan Campbell calling plays, let's keep it going.
Yeah. Hey, we should all, you know what? I forgot. We should all put our glasses on. Junko, you got yours. I got to put mine on.
Yeah.
He had that big old, like, what's the jitterbug phone? He had the big old version of the jitterbug phone in the play calling menu. That thing was huge. It looked like the menu at Denny's.
Well, doesn't he work at Denny's?
Yeah, no, that's Applebee's.
Oh,
yeah. That's right. It's Applebee's. Yeah.
So, Dane, how did you see it?
Yeah, exactly. I think the lesson learned here is Detroit cannot take any more bye weeks. They come off the bye week, they look like crap. And maybe they needed that. Every now and then they need a wake-up call, I guess. And it was like, oh, we're coming off a bye week. It's just Minnesota. JJ's rusty. We're going to, kick some ass. Well, it didn't happen. So here they come. And the Commanders, of course, the Commanders are a broken team right now pretty much.
Right.
But hey, and talk about the frustration. How about Darian Payne, right, getting suspended for slugging St. Brown. I didn't hear anything more about that. They said, St. Brown hit him first, but I don't think they had any video evidence of that.
I saw some today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It apparently there was some smack talk on previous plays. Amon St. Brown kind of gave Payne a shove and then took a swipe at him. Didn't connect, but took a swipe. And so Payne just went, with the the sledgehammer upside the head. So that it looked like it was a frustration on Washington, and they just kind of came loose there. They got the best of them. Dane,
it's always the person who retaliates, right?
Exactly. Just like hockey, right?
Yeah, but when you listen to Dan Campbell's press conference, he was saying it was a team effort, right? When they were asking him about John Morton not playing, making the calls himself anymore. Oh yeah, well, I got input from everybody. It's a team effort. You know what happened?
Yeah,
just give me that.
You know what? But for that to happen, I mean, the results are there. So how can you be pissed at it? I mean, he's got the proof is in the pudding there. So hey, be a good soldier and do your job and let Dan call the plays. So that's what's happening.
I mean, the Lions scored on each of their initial 8 possessions. I mean, that's pretty impressive there. Yeah.
So Dane, I'm going to ask you, we got the good Jared Goff on Sunday. What changed? How much do you think was Goff versus the O-line play and the play calling? So throw that all in together. What was number 1, 2, 3? And then I'll ask Junko the same thing.
Yeah, I think the O-line played a lot better, so that helped Goff. And then the play calling again was just much better. I think they opened it up for Goff. He seemed a little subdued against Minnesota or hesitant against Minnesota for whatever reason. Maybe it was he didn't like the play calling. So I know he was very complimentary of Dan Campbell after the game because he really liked the plays that were being called. So I think his O-line, I think it was, Goff getting just feeling a little more confident in plays and making the plays and executing well. And then of course, like you said, the running game, man, the running game's back, right, with Gibbs. So that helped a lot.
Yeah.
But again, it's against the Commanders team that, it's kind of broken.
I know you got to throw that caveat out there.
Nah, I do.
Well, the Commanders had a great defense last year. I mean, they did. And they went a long way with it. And and I agree with Dane. I think the running game getting 226 yards was key. And again, I mentioned that bootleg earlier. I think that had a lot to do with it. But I think the other thing too was that they went back to the checkdowns and the throws to the middle of the field. It seemed like last week against the Vikings, they were throwing everything to the outside and everything with a medium to deep pattern, right? How many? I mean, the touchdown to Gibbs, the touchdown to Jamison, those were all 8 or 9 yard passes across the middle that went the distance. And I'd like to see Detroit get back to that. I don't know. I think the offensive line for Detroit still needs improvement, but I thought they were better this week than they were against the Vikings. I don't know if that was the scheme that the two defenses ran against them or whether they just actually played better, but they were better. And the other thing, too, is I noticed that in the Vikings game, it seemed like St. Brown was the primary receiver on almost every play. Right? I mean, they threw way too many balls to him. This week, 9 different receivers caught passes, and I think spreading it around helps keeps the field spaced and the defense, on their heels. So I think those were all reasons. But here's the biggest stat of all: 0 sacks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They had 0 sacks against Goff. Right. Goff. We all know Goff is at his worst when he's under pressure. If you let him stand in, he'll beat you. But the way you beat him is to hit him and sack him. Nope. 4 pressures, 0 sacks.
Yeah.
That's
that was the thing of beauty. That's how an offensive line can look one way one week and another way. It's all scheming, and there is another team on the other side of that line, so they have something to do with it. But looking at the defense, it was kind of a mixed bag. Kirby Joseph is still out, and the Detroit D didn't seem to control the line of scrimmage, allowing around 300 yards of total offense, even though they controlled the time of possession. But I will say the Lions D kept the ground game in check. Washington rushed only 27 times for 93 yards. So, Junko, what do you think of that D from the Commanders? Even though, let's also say that Marcus Mariota isn't Jaden Daniels. So what do you think of defensively?
Washington only had 300 yards of total offense, and Marcus Mariota was, he's a veteran quarterback. Yeah, he's not Daniels, but he's not bad. I don't know. I mean, you could say Detroit's defense was good, but Washington was 3 for 3 on 4th down. So that's
right.
That's
yeah.
Hey, that is a mobile quarterback, and we have trouble with that.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that when we talk about the Eagles. But anyway,
and their offense helped the Detroit defense by committing 8 penalties.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know.
Exactly.
It's they had the ball for 27 minutes, which again we talk about. One of the problems that the Detroit defense has is getting off the field. 27 minutes is a long time with a backup quarterback in the game. So they still got their work to do on defense. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about the defense later because I got some stats.
Ooh.
Hit me with them stats.
Ooh,
I got some stats,
can't
baby.
wait.
Yeah, I'll save it for the trade deadline discussion. So,
okay.
I think we talked about it before, but when you can't run the ball, it hurts your passing game too. So they were not really able to run the ball against the D, and I think that hurt their passing game. But an interesting stat is Hutch, and maybe you're going to bring this up. Hutch had 0 tackles and 0 sacks. I know he was getting double teamed at times, but it just seemed like the play was not going towards him in many cases. And it shows no sacks, no tackles whatsoever. And it seemed like he was always like a half a second late on plays, but I think he was running across the field trying to get to the play. So I thought that was interesting to see that out of Hutch. But the pass defense, iffy again, but I think the run defense is obviously very good.
I know that I know that Brian Branch actually had a sack. So
Yep.
did we have any other sacks? Do we have
He
this?
had 1.5. He had 1.5 sacks.
Okay.
And then Lopez had the other half sack.
Got it. Okay. And that was only 2 sacks then for the for
just
the
2
game?
sacks.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Dane, overall, what do you think went right, and what do you think that the Lions need to fix going forward in the NFC?
Well, I think pretty much against what we saw on Sunday is that pretty much the offense and defensive run game or run stop is working really well. The pass defense until we get people back. And Arnold went out with a concussion. I don't know if that's a great loss or not. But we've got to get some guys back. I don't know when they're coming back. But I think the offense was clicking really well, and it'll be interesting to see how this play calling goes forward. Now, I will say, special teams. Man, they had 7 kickoff returns for 191 yards, the long of 46. Okay, that's a piece that's got to get fixed.
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Junko, how do you see the good and the bad?
Yeah, I agree with Dane on the special teams. They had another blocked field goal, and but that field goal looked low to me. I don't know about you guys, but I thought he kicked it low. And and somebody was screaming about the fact that they were popping our center. I don't know if that's true or not.
No.
But I don't know. I think more than anything, what we saw is they need to continue to get healthy. They're hurt on the offensive line. They're hurt in the defensive backfield. And I think anytime they have a breakdown on one of those areas, those are contributing factors. And I love the fact that
they're still paper thin back there.
And I love the fact on offense that they've gone back to the short and intermediate passing game. I think that's something they got maybe a little. Goff was getting a little too comfortable back in the pocket. And he paid for it against the Vikes. I think they need to make sure they keep him on rhythm, on time. So I mean, those were what I saw. We got no pass rush. It's gonna be something we just have to live with. They're double teaming Hutch. Nobody else can rush. It is what it is.
Well, before I move on to the next question, I'll give you a good and a bad. Good, I think Jack Campbell is turning into a superstar.
He played well.
He played well, and again, he just keeps on getting better every game. And then the special teams. Khalif Raymond had no room to work. He 3 yards total on returns. That's not good enough. So you're right. Special teams needs to be a focus to improve. So last week we talked about the NFL trade deadline, that the Lions did absolutely nothing. Is this non-action going to cost the Lions as they continue on in the NFC hunt? Will they be an early exit, Junko?
No, I don't think they will be. I mean, if they are, I don't think it will be because they didn't make a move at the trade deadline.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's where I want to show my stats at you guys, and I did a little research here, which I never do. Okay, for our show, I never do any research. But so I was, I was kind of upset. I know, right? So I was kind of mad at Brad Holmes for not making any moves. Right? I thought we need a pass rush. We need another defensive run stopper. We need another offensive lineman. I was thinking we need those are only 3 guys. Let's go and spend some cash and bring this championship home. And then I went and I said, I'm going to make my point by looking at stats. And what I learned was I was wrong. Right? I was wrong. Here's the thing: Lions rank 11th in total defense. Did you know that? They're ranked. They're 8th against the run. I'm sorry. They're 6th against the run, giving up just 95 yards a game. And they're only 17th against the pass, which we think is this huge weakness on their defense. They're in the middle of the pack.
They're only giving up 200 yards a game. Yeah. They're
8th in the NFL and getting off the field on 3rd down. So they're doing a lot right on defense. It's kind of hard to fault them there. And then for offense, They're the 7th ranked offense, 378 yards a game. They're 6th in the scoring offense. Although they were higher than that last year. I think they were 3rd or 2nd last year. They're 8th in passing, and they're 10th in red zone efficiency. 60% touchdowns inside the 20-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad, man. I mean, when you say you need offensive line help, and you're the 9th best rushing team in the NFL, maybe that was an exaggeration.
Well, again, they didn't want to give up the farm, but I will say they're still thin. I mean, when Panay went down, I mean, I think I gasped. I'm like, oh no, can't afford to lose him.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And because there's just no, and I know they like to talk next man up, but the next man up may not be as good as the guy you got. So you need to be a little thicker there. As far as your backup goes. Dane, feel the same
Bob,
way?
what was the name of that movie with Michael Keaton? Multiplicity or Duplicity or what was it called?
Multiplicity.
Yeah. What did he say? The
copy is always the worst. That's right.
Aren't as sharp as the originals, right?
And by the time you get to the 3rd or 4th copy, it ain't so good. It's
then you got she touched my pee-pee, Steve. Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's a famous line, by the way, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah.
Dane, anything to add?
No, I agree. I mean, when the injuries started to mount on that offensive line, I really thought, man, we ought to go after, like Cesar Ruiz, like I mentioned, I think it was last week, and they didn't. And I was a little disappointed they didn't make a move on offensive line, but that offensive line played pretty damn well, and you can't project injuries. So I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right with them not making a move. And
well,
we'll see.
Who keeps on making moves? The Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. I mean, they are people that are very proactive at trade deadlines, at preseason, to try and improve it. And I mean, you got to trust Holmes until you can't trust him anymore. Yeah. So there you are. So speaking of the NFC North, Bears won again, and the Packers, of course, lose. So it's going to be a shootout until we hit the last game of the season. It's going to go right down to the wire. Lions get Green Bay at home on Thanksgiving Day. Then they get Chicago at home on the last regular season game of the year. Those will be big games. But there's another big game coming this Sunday at the 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday night. Man, this is a tough road to hoe. It's quite the gauntlet right up until the end. So maybe we get a breather. After the Eagles, we have the New York Giants. They just fired their head coach, Brian Daboll. So there might be a little bit of a breather there, but all the games are tough. So let's do a little preview. Junko, why don't you preview the Eagles? You want to start with the offense?
Yeah, I'll do that. The schedule is the price they pay for success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, last year obviously being the great season. This year, like you said, Bob, it's a freaking gauntlet. So in 2008, I was sitting in the stands in Carolina, watching the Lions with a bag on my head that said "Kitty," right? Huh. And they were just about to pull out the win, and something happened, and they lost. And that season, they go on to be 0-16.
By the way, I have a trivia question relating to that, but go ahead.
Oh, do you really? Well, okay. Well, that's interesting. I hope I didn't ruin it for you.
No, you did not.
Okay, good. But, I don't really know why I say that, other than the fact that I look at this team now, and after this great run we've had, and we're talking about their weaknesses, and I watched Philly go out and actually they pretty much dominated Green Bay for most of the game. They held Jordan Love to 176 yards. That's a feat in itself. And only gave up 110 yards on the ground. And here I am again. This is where I kind of got to those stats, and I was looking to say, are they elite defense? And they're ranked in every category, right about where Detroit is. So it's going to be, basically the advantage that Philly is going to have in this game is basically going to be the home field. And so I think really it's going to come down to some keys, right? Can we run the ball? Not to turn it over. We didn't have any turnovers this week. No turnovers next week. And can we keep Philly, do what Green Bay did, and keep them under 20 points? That's kind of what I see. I think we need to run the same game plan that we ran this week, which is that short passing game. Control the clock, good third down efficiency. Minimize the turnovers and and kick some eagle boot tie.
Kick some of those. Pluck
I'll
those
take a
feathers.
win. I'll just take a win.
Yeah. Dane,
especially away.
How do you see it?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the stats, actually Detroit leads in like every single category, but it's not huge difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Junko was saying, even turnovers are +4, we're +6. Not a huge difference there. And I was looking for something. Okay, what really is going to be the difference here? And I think it's going to come down to our rushing game, against maybe their rushing game, and our rush defense against their rush defense. I think it may come down to that in the final. I hope it's a more exciting game than what took place last night. 10-7.
Yeah.
And how about that? How about that last field goal by the Green Bay kicker, man?
I know.
What an effort. But anyway, I think it's going to be a close game, and if it was in Detroit, I'd feel a whole lot better about this one. It's in in Philadelphia, so gonna be a tighter game, I think.
Well, they have problems with a mobile quarterback, which of course Jalen Hurts is. We got to keep him from that third down and something situation. Because nothing is more defeating when you get a quarterback like Hurts, or even any mobile quarterback, where you get him on a third down and 7, and they convert it with his legs. And so that's a little self-defeating. Saquon Barkley is always going to be a threat. So let me ask you, who's better, Gibbs or Barkley? Just shout it out. First answer.
Barkley.
Yeah, I was gonna say overall, the whole career of Barkley, but Gibbs has really shown his muster here.
Yeah.
And the thing
they're both very good backs.
Yeah.
And if you're going to stop Philadelphia, you got it right, Bob. You're going to have to stop them. You got to stop the running game. I mean, they're not going to. If they're a pass only team, we've got a really good chance of beating them. But if Barkley and Hurts are running wild, the odds of us winning in Philadelphia are probably low.
But we've faced a lot of mobile quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
Mayfield, Love, so we've faced quite a few within our own division. We've got mobile quarterbacks, even JJ,
Lamar Jackson,
Caleb Williams. So they're all mobile except for Goff, right?
Right.
So
everybody's mobile compared to Goff. Yeah.
Well, maybe Brady.
I will say that the Achilles heel for the Eagles is their pass defense. So that seems to be their weakness. So maybe, we can get like the pass with, there's enough balls for Jamo and Laporta and Amon, and we can get them a lot more touches, and we'll have this game. So we'll see what happens. Now, Junko, you say 27 points is the Lions' magic number on offense. So let's hope they get there. Now, let's take a look at Philly's offense against the still sketchy Lions defense. What do you see there? What do you got to do? What is the Lions?
When I wrote this, I said sketchy, but after I did my research, I realized they really weren't that sketchy. They was more just injured, is how I would put it now. They're injured defense.
I would say the backfield might be.
If I was Dan Campbell locker room, I would look at my guys and I would say, I got 2 words for you: stop Saquon. Do whatever you got to do. Stop Saquon. Do not let him get going. But he only had 60 yards against Green Bay, so
you can stop him.
Yeah, and and Jalen Hurts. Everybody talks about what a great quarterback Jalen Hurts is. His quarterback rating against Green Bay was 42. That's less than Bryce Underwood's worst game at Michigan. Honest to God, it's the truth. And they got to make him a passer. Here's the thing: is that to me, they're like mirror image teams. I look at them and I say, whichever team plays the best in this game will win. And I'm hoping that our coaching staff will have these guys ready to go. Maybe we got our bad game out of the way with Minnesota. I don't know. This last game was in Green Bay, correct? With the Eagles, was that game in Green Bay?
Yes.
I'm on YouTube, so I don't have ABC anymore.
Yeah, it was in Green Bay. I'm sorry.
Thank you, yes. YouTube. Get your stuff together. You and Disney.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Detroit's got a very good chance of winning this game.
Dane, how do you see that matchup?
Yeah, I think Detroit's got a good chance of winning this game. I think the passing is based on this past game is really come back. I think the play calling with Campbell, if what he did on Sunday is any indication what he's going to do this Sunday, I think it's a winnable game. Yeah, even being in Philadelphia.
Well, we will have to wait for Sunday night football at Lincoln Financial Field, right? The Eagles actually right now are early favorites by 1.5 points. The over-under, Junko, you tell me this, 48.5 to 49.5. Does that seem right?
No.
Low or high?
I think it's way high. You know?
I thought so too.
Yeah, I had Philadelphia at 2.5, so maybe it is 1.5 now. I haven't looked lately. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That over under, I definitely would go under in this game. I guess you got two pretty decent defensive teams, and we just Philadelphia, they're a grinded out team. They're both running teams, and in the NFL with today's clock, how it continually runs. This could be a 4.5 possession type game for each team. Where they only hold the ball 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
I'd say under 47.5 sounds like a pretty good bet to me. I don't know.
All right, so give me a score.
I want Dane to go first.
All right.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm my score takes the over by 1 point. I've got Detroit winning 31-17.
Okay. 31-17.
You go ahead, Bob. Go ahead. Give me yours.
I also have the over. I've got Lions 27, Eagles 24.
Wow.
Close game.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got Philadelphia 24, Detroit 20.
Oh, look at you.
Wow. Okay.
And that's under.
Nobody can call you a homer.
They can call me a pessimist, though.
Yeah.
Jeez, yeah.
Is this one of them? Go ahead, Dano.
I think this is one of them when we were talking about overall, schedule and what we thought there. Would be. This was going to be a loss, I think, is what most of us said.
This was, me too. I thought.
But the way they're playing now and what I saw at Philly against Green Bay, I don't know.
See, but it's
a little
so
more
funny.
confidence in them.
It's so funny.
What teams are going to show up?
If we had to make this prediction after the Minnesota game, it would have gone the other way. I guarantee it. It's why we're fans, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So either way, it's going to be a slugfest. Keep the defibrillator nearby because it's going to be one of those type of games. All right. So before we move on, let's do some Lions trivia, shall we?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Dan Campbell, as we all talked about, took over the play calling in last week's game. He had done that before in his first season before handing the responsibilities over to Ben Johnson. Now he's had success as an offensive genius, no doubt about it. However, when he played, his stats would be less than spectacular. In his 9-year career, 3 seasons with the Lions, including the infamous 2008 season where the Lions went to 0-16. Yep. So he had his total career, 934 yards, only 11 touchdowns. His most prolific touchdown season was in 2006, his first season with the Lions. Simple question. How many touchdowns do you think he had that year?
How many did he have overall?
Overall, in that season.
I'm sorry,
no, overall, would you say?
Who are we talking about? Who's the player?
All right.
Tell me who the player is.
I do have a tendency to be long-winded. Dan Campbell.
Oh, Dan Campbell.
Okay.
We're talking about Dan Campbell in his 2006 season. Okay. Now, his career, he scored only 11 touchdowns. A 9-year career, 11 touchdowns. The majority were actually scored with the Detroit Lions. So I'm asking you, how many touchdowns do you think he scored in one season for the Lions? Shout it out.
4.
I was going to say 5.
It is 4.
4?
Yeah, 4 touchdowns, which would be like what, 40.4% or something like that.
Something like that, right?
Yeah. Of his career touchdowns, 40% of them were with the Lions. Interesting enough, he never had another touchdown in the other 2 seasons with the Lions.
Okay.
His quarterback for those 4 touchdowns was John Kitna.
So,
who was an excellent quarterback, by the way. I always liked John Kitna.
He kept us afloat, I'll tell you that much, during those bleak days.
So here we go. Years,
Now before we started, we were talking about how cold it is in Florida and Mississippi. So whatever. It's 35 degrees here.
65 today. Yeah, it's freezing.
Yeah.
It is very, very rare to be this cold in mid-November in Michigan, but it's here. The cold weather is here. We're also heading into crunch time for the Wolverines because football college champions are made in November. Before the season started, I think we all thought Michigan could have 2 regular season losses, right? And here we are. They got their 2 losses, although we would hope probably that one of them would have been to Ohio State. So now they no longer have that luxury. To get into the CFP, Michigan now needs to have all those W's, and that includes taking down the number 1 Buckeyes. So Michigan is coming off the bye week, preparing for quite a unique game at Wrigley Field against Northwestern. So an away game, sort of. I think that Michigan's going to show out at that game. Northwestern is coming off of a trip against USC where they were on the West Coast. They gave the Trojans a good test before they finally lost 38-17. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys watched that game. What are your thoughts on the game and Northwestern in general? Dane, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, just to remind you that I did think Michigan was going to go 12-0 right this season. So
yes, you did.
You two were the 2 losses.
We thought.
But anyway, yeah, you were closer than I was, I guess. Hey, anyway, that Northwestern USC game, that first half they were really competitive. It was pretty darn close, and they've got a good running back, Kamalafe. He had 17 carries for 118 yards, not bad, and 5 receptions for 40 yards. So he's a pretty good running back. Their quarterback is sort of pedestrian. He was 20 for 30, 150 yards. Nothing real special out of him. And they had a turnover. They got sacked once. Their third down efficiency, they were 4 of 12, not good. And they only had 280 total yards. So, and USC has been up and down this year, really. But Northwestern, wow, I think they do pose a risk based on how Michigan's been playing on offense here recently. I think we can probably still take them. Junko, what do you think?
Well, I know you don't think much of Preston Stone as a quarterback, but I thought he actually played pretty well this week against USC. That's a tough place to play.
Sure.
And I thought he played better against them than Bryce did for sure. I think he's a solid Big Ten quarterback. He had an 83.6% QBR, which is pretty high. And he thrives in the short passing game, which is the Michigan weakness on defense. So that's a little worrisome for me. He only had 1 long completion in the game, 32 yards, but somehow he kept them in that football game most of the time. I agree with you, Dane. I think the running back is exceptional. He had 118 yards and only 17 carries.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good against USC. And we found out they're not the easiest team to run against. I don't know. Maybe that was us. I'm not sure on that one. But he is really. I agree with you that he's really the only home run threat that they have. But he is formidable, and that's going to be interesting to see.
So Northwestern put up 17 points on USC on the road, which is not easy for a team that's going from east to west. what was Northwestern so successful at, and how does that translate into attacking Michigan on Saturday? Junko?
I don't know why they were so successful, to be honest. Here's the way I look at the game coming up this week. I think Michigan needs to take away their running game. I think, if I were gonna say, this would be a game where I think our linebackers are more important than most of the other games that we played this season, and we're injured there. I don't know. Dane, do you know? Are we getting back Jimmy Rolder or Cole Sullivan this week?
Rolder is he's a maybe, although they say he's got a soft tissue leg injury. Sullivan, that injury may be more serious, so he's doubtful. But Rolder we may get back.
And Barham, is he going to be back or?
Barham is a probable. Yeah.
Okay. So because they're going to need the linebackers this weekend. In this run game. I think we if we sit back like we did against USC and a few other teams and let them dink and dunk us, they're going to possess the ball and it's going to be USC all over again. I'm not saying that it's going, but that's the potential. I think they need to get up at the line of scrimmage and make some plays in the run game and the short passing game. If I could say Wink Martindale, I want to see two things. That would be the two things I would mention. Of course, he's not listening to me, so
he's not. Why not?
You never know.
Yeah, but I mostly I want to see the linebackers play better. That's kind of where I'm at. Dane?
Well, you know who Sharon Moore's listening to?
Who's that?
Saban.
Yeah.
There's some reports out there about him and Nick Saban trading some conversations there. So maybe that'll be the magic.
Good or bad?
Yeah, I know. I think Northwestern, of course, had success because they were able to run the ball. And, I think it'll be the same case against Michigan. And I think, vice versa, if we're able to run the ball, I think we're going to have success. Probably not a real high scoring game because we're both going to be trying to control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, and run the damn ball. Right. I would love to see Bryce try a couple downfield, maybe hit an open receiver for once. I guess that's the disappointing factor is he doesn't see the open receiver or he's just missing open receiver. So I hope that's corrected after the bye week. And in these injuries, like I said, Haynes obviously is out. He had that surgery on his foot. Rod Moore, he's still working through his knee issues. Link's a maybe, but I don't see him replacing Frazier over there. Frazier's doing a really good job. Hansen, who I read somewhere he was out for the season. They said he was practicing this past week. So, and then McCulley's a probable. So if we get those guys back, I think that's really going to help us out against Northwestern.
So right. I want to, Junko, I want to double back on the Wink Martindale thing. So in your opinion, okay, he had a bye week. So did he do, okay, knowing what you know or what you see from Wink Martindale, is he the kind of coordinator that would take this bye week and say, okay, I got 3 games coming up. What do I need to do? What kind of twists? What can I put in to a wrinkle for the next 3 games, especially starting with Northwestern? What do you think's in his head right now?
Yeah, I know. I think you're absolutely right about the fact that they did game plan all 3 games this week. It's not that they're looking past Northwestern, but I bet they spent time on all 3 of them, especially during that first part of the real bye week where they were let players rest and they had an opportunity to sit down as a coaching staff, do a self audit and say, hey, we got these 3 games coming up. Here's the key parts of their offense and defense. What are we going to do? And I think that that's some of that's going to be done. The question really is going to be, the last bye week we really just came out and we were terrible.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to be interesting to see how our team responds this week after the bye. They didn't seem like they did a very much game planning last time. Let's see if that changes this week.
Correct. So, Dane, I'm going to ask you something about Michigan's offense, okay? The Trojans put up 38 points against Northwestern. So, should Michigan have the same type of success? How do you see that happening?
Yeah, it would be great if they had the same kind of success, and if Underwood can hit his open receivers and find his open receivers, I think they can have that sort of success. They would have had it against Purdue. But the game, unfortunately, was much closer than we had all hoped. When you look at the stats, Michigan passing offense, we're actually 188 versus Northwestern 170. So we're actually, as bad as we think our passing game is, Northwestern's isn't much better. Their pass D, they're giving up 181 yards a game. So, I mean, it would be nice for us to get over 200 against them, but I don't know. It'd be interesting. But they are giving up 143 yards in rushing. So I think we can exploit that again and have over 200 yards rushing and be able to take this game. One interesting stat is turnover margin. Okay, Northwestern's -5 and we're +8. So maybe a turnover or two going in our favor would really help out. Yeah.
Junko, how do you see that offense against Northwestern's defense?
Well, it's Wrigley Field, so it's kind of a neutral venue. Michigan has scored like 50 points last year's matchup, but that was at the Big House. So this game is going to be on grass, which I think favors Northwestern a little bit, not a lot. Some of it's going to come down to whether they're going to be willing to let Bryce run a little bit or not. Are they? I know they're trying to. They got a big game in two weeks after this game, and I know Dane knows who that is. And I got a feeling that
I think we all know who that is.
They don't think they're going to spend a lot of these games, risking their most important capital in Bryce Underwood. I think they're going to probably not want him to run very much. So that'll influence their offensive performance for sure. But he is due for a breakout game. He's had a couple bad games in a row. Maybe he hit the freshman wall. Maybe he's got a week off and now he comes back and he responds. I'm going to tell you, in that last game, he had guys running wide open in the secondary, right? And those passes, while he missed a couple of them bad, there were a couple he just missed. And if he can connect on a couple of those, then that could open up the dam. So I don't know. I just want to see improvement this week, guys. That's really what I want to see.
Yeah, because it seems like he's regressed the last couple of weeks. So I agree. Let's see some improvement. Definitely, we need to see that definitely, especially the last
Dane,
3 games.
A real quick, concise, and that may be a challenge for you, but a quick, concise, a key. 3 keys to victory. Just give me like 3 quick keys to a Michigan victory on Saturday.
When Bob calls you windy, Dane, that's when you know something's really.
I don't know. I remember last week.
Because I know trivia's up next. So
I know. Last week I asked if I had any more time left after Junko went. So I think he's competing with me now. Hey, so I'd say 3 keys. Establish the run game. Got to establish the run game. That's the biggest thing. Defense has to get back, get at them. We're 18th in the country with 24 sacks, and we just got to keep that going, that momentum going on defense. And then the turnovers, like I mentioned earlier, we need a turnover or 2 from them. I think would really help. We've got to win the turnover battle. I say 3 keys. You could probably say that for every game, right? Those 3. But again, it's the same because Northwestern really is a ground and pound team, like we're a ground and pound team. Neither one of us have a great passing offense. So, it's going to come down to how well do the defensive lines stop the run on each side, and then who can get to the quarterback, who can pressure the quarterback, and who can take him down.
All right. Junko, same thing.
Yeah, I agree with Dane. Michigan's got to own the line of scrimmage. No bad turnovers. Last week they had that fumble into the end zone that killed them, and then they had the interception down in the red zone that killed them. They got to get rid of those. and then pass enough to keep the D honest. And then for Northwestern, the keys to winning are they need to be able to run a short passing game against the Michigan defense. They probably got to run for 150 yards in a game, and they also need to win the turnover battle. Those were the three that I had for them.
Well, it is going to be pretty good, pretty exciting game. It's a big noon kickoff on Fox, Wrigley Field. Temperatures in the mid 60s, so a little warmer. Slight chance of rain. Michigan is favored by 11.5 points, and the over/under is 41.5. Any of that information need to be corrected, Junko?
No, that sounds right to me.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
So now let's look at some predictions. Let's throw it to Dane first.
All right. For all those reasons I said earlier, I think Michigan is going to ground and pound them a little harder than they're going to ground and pound us. And I think we're going to be able to get to the quarterback. He's not real mobile. Stone isn't. So I've got Michigan winning. I put them at over 30 points a couple times, and I'm going, maybe that'd be great, but I don't see it this time. So I see Michigan winning 24-17.
All right. Junko?
Well, I'm more optimistic than Dane today.
All
That's
right. There
surprising.
you go. Good.
I got Michigan 27, Northwestern 17.
Okay. A little more.
Yeah. So we're all at the under. I've got Michigan 25, Northwestern 13. I see their defense shining a little bit better.
I think
so. That's good.
Junko's over. He's 44 points.
Oh, Junko's at the over?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got 44. Yeah.
Okay. All right. With all that said, we'll see what happens when we're back again next week. But before then, we've got the always interesting, but nonetheless useless. Or have I got that switched around? Useless but interesting.
It's the same. You just said it the pessimistic way.
Hey, what do the kids say these days? 6'7"? 6'7". So Dane's look it up. Yeah, no, you can't.
I have no idea what that means.
I know. And we shouldn't. Dane's useless but interesting trivia is up right now. Take it away, Blue Dane.
All right. I have a better intro here, dude.
Okay. Is this something that's going to be cut out?
I don't know. We'll find out.
For Dane's useless, but very interesting trivia.
Oh,
I can't wait. Give it to me, Dane. Oh, no.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think there's a good chance that'll get cut out. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Back in the day, there used to be 1-900 numbers, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Paid a lot, talk to live models, and so
Well, if you pay a Hooters girl like $5, they'll do it for you. So.
Very good. No, I like it.
Yeah, cool. Hey, so anyway, Northwestern. So they're the Wildcats. Willie the Wildcat. You'll see him prancing around on the sideline. Say hi to Willie when you see him there. But anyway,
he'll be the one in purple.
Yeah. So they their debut was in 1876, but basically it was just an intramural sport until 1882, and then from 82 to 87 they ran scrimmages. They didn't play any teams, but in 1892 they finally beat a certain team for their first significant win. What team was that?
I'm going to say it's the Michigan Wolverines.
Robert?
I'll say Ohio.
Michigan Wolverines. They beat them 10-8 in 1892. That was their first significant win. So
wow.
Now there are also no Northwestern players. No Northwestern player has ever won the Heisman Trophy, but a former Northwestern alumnus won the Heisman Trophy in 1995. And who was that?
In 1995?
So they transferred somewhere else?
Was it Tomlinson?
He played for Ohio.
Was it Tomlinson? He played for Ohio.
Yeah, so 95.
Archie Griffin.
95.
He was earlier in that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Was it David? No, it wasn't Boston. It was 95.
I'm going to throw in the towel.
All right, Eddie George.
Oh,
Eddie George.
really?
He got and he was an alumnus of Northwestern. After his professional career, he ended up getting an MBA from Northwestern.
Wasn't he the guy who bitched about Ohio State something because he was going to be a doctor or something? It had something to do with his but yeah, they maybe it's the fact that they didn't go to class or something.
I don't know. Maybe he took it
I
out on
do happen to
ballers,
remember that about Eddie George. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah,
So
he got
an
an MBA from Northwestern after his football
This is a technicality because really he won the Heisman at Ohio when he wasn't playing football, or I mean when he got he's a Northwestern alumni when he wasn't playing football.
After he was out of football. Totally out of football. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. That was in 2009 he got that MBA. A little trickery there.
For sure. Yeah. All right, real good. Well, you know what? A little bonus coverage here. We've got college football playoffs right around the corner. So let's do a little discussion here. Michigan moved up in the ranking. Now they're 18th in the country. And Junko talked a little about last week about what needed to happen for Michigan to be a lock for the CFP. So guys, Junko, I'll start with you. Why don't you cover a few key games and what they mean for the Big Ten moving forward?
Yeah, well, it isn't just the Big Ten; it's also Michigan's, destiny. I mean, they were sitting there at 19, and they needed some. Like you got to get basically to 12 to get into the college football playoff. So they needed some teams in front of them to lose, and they needed to move up some. And everybody, I think, knows at this point that the only way Michigan's going to get in the playoff is if they win the next 3 games, which means beating Ohio State at home, which would be a terrific win and probably will vault them up a number of places in the rankings. But there were some teams that they would like to have seen lost this past week, and they got some of those teams to lose. Missouri got drilled by number 3 Texas A&M 38-17, and Michigan passed them in the rankings. I know they passed Virginia, which also lost. I forget who they lost to, but they lost. And then BYU lost, but they're still ahead of Michigan, I believe, in the rankings, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, but they've got a loss now, and they're still they've still got a couple tough games ahead of them. Louisville was number 15, and they lost to an unranked Cal, which really helped Michigan's cause. And I think that's pretty much it. I mean, do you have any other ones, Dane, that I miss?
Well,
I know
not
Washington
a loss, but it should have been a loss. Is that Indiana-Penn State game?
Oh man!
I tell you what, that was a hell of a catch at the end. But that defender, he should have got under him and just pushed him into the stands.
He did. The defender didn't play it.
He did not play it right. When he went up in the air, he should have got under him and pushed him into the stands, and then it would have been over, and it would have been a great upset.
It was pretty dang close, but he was in.
Yeah, he wasn't. He actually got both feet in or both toes. So. But
I think Indiana's a good team, Dane. But do you think they're number 3 in the country, or 2, or whatever they are?
They're number 2 still. I don't think they moved. Not after that. Not after what Penn State has done, or since their debacle there earlier in the season. So no, I don't see Indiana. I see Indiana maybe a top 10. I mean, they're 10-0, but that performance against Penn State. I know it was away. It was at Penn State, but.
Anyway. Is Penn State their big win on the season? I mean, who have they beaten?
That's a good question. It might be their biggest win.
Did they beat Oregon? I can't remember.
No, I don't. Yes, I think they did beat Oregon. I'd have to look.
Yeah, I think Oregon's their big win.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and then there's a handful of games coming up this weekend that may or may not have some play into the CFP. So I'll throw the couple of games out there, and either one of you guys jump in to give a comment. Oklahoma at Alabama. What has to win there? What has to happen there, rather?
Well, I think it'd be better for Michigan if Alabama won.
Okay.
They've lost the head-to-head with Oklahoma, but if Oklahoma loses this game, they'll have 3 losses, which I think essentially eliminates them from playoff consideration. I don't know. Yeah.
Dane, Texas at Georgia?
Texas at Georgia. I think Texas needs to take Georgia down. I think would that give them 2 losses, I think, at that point? Kind of make them suspect, or does that make them 3 losses? I can't remember.
I think it'd be better if Texas lost, because then they'd have 3 losses and be out of it.
They'd have 3. Okay.
They're at 11 now. Michigan would pass them if they lost.
Okay.
And Michigan wins, of course. Yeah.
And then finally Notre Dame at Pittsburgh. Either one.
I think Pitt.
No,
I'd be rooting for Pitt.
So
I think Notre Dame's got 2 losses already. So
I was just going to say, you're looking for another 3-loss team here, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be better for Michigan if Notre Dame lost that game. I don't think Pittsburgh's very good. But then again, I don't think Notre Dame deserves to be number 10 with 2 losses, even though they lost to Miami, which is a good team, and they lost to Texas A&M. But they got spanked by Texas A&M, and I think the loss to Miami, I think it might have been in Coral Gables, but that's still 2 losses. I don't think 2-loss teams belong in the top 10. That's me.
It's really getting interesting. So we'll see what's coming up. So we're about to wrap things up, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask Dane about U of M hockey. Anything happening there, my buddy?
Yeah, it was a pretty exciting weekend. They played Wisconsin, number 10 team in the country. They won the first game 7-4, but unfortunately on Saturday night at home, they got their butts whipped 6-1. So another tough weekend coming up. They play Penn State, who I believe Penn State is number 3 in the country. So number 2 against number 3. So it'll be another tough weekend for them. They're playing pretty well. The only thing that is hurting them is basically their penalty killing. It's not real good. So,
are we going to get any love from you for Michigan State, which is number 1?
Yeah, they're still number 1. They're playing well. We'll see. We'll see how the season goes.
Okay,
no
real
love,
good. Hey, Junko, how's Dusty May and U of M basketball doing?
Yeah, doing great. They're off to a 2-0 start. They're ranked number 6 in the country. They look like they got a great team that is going to be in the race all season. I just can't wait to see them against Purdue later this year. That's going to be a great matchup, and that they'll be playing to see who's the king of the Big Ten probably.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to hear more, you can smack that like button wherever you listen. In addition to Spotify, we can also be seen and heard on our YouTube channel. And just search Lowdown on Motown Sports, and we'll pop right up for you. You can subscribe. You'll get notified when we have new shows, so that'd be cool. Find us on Facebook, as Junko always is posting some stuff up there about Michigan and Motown sports. You can leave a comment or a question. Love to hear from you. This podcast is part of Junko Bodie Productions and an exclusive production of the Lowdown on Motown Sports Network. Thanks for listening. We see you next time on the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast. Thank you, gentlemen. See ya.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast. If you're liking what you're hearing, then why don't you do us a solid and rate, subscribe, and leave a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. That helps others find the show. And, we're pretty awesome, so why not share the awesomeness? We appreciate it. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Lowdown on Motown Sports Podcast.